Well, here we are on week 18 of our study through 2 Corinthians chapter 4. The theme overall of the whole chapter is that we need to keep going, that we should not let anything stop us from accomplishing the task that God has put before us. And we've gotten to this last verse, but I want to read the last three verses for you together because they kind of build on each other. Verse 16 says, "So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light, momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison." And here's verse 18. "As we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal." So one of the ways in which we keep going through all this difficulty, of course, is depending upon the power of God, relying on Him to work through us, recognizing that it is the gospel that changes people's hearts and minds, not us. And they're seeing the power of God through us in our weakness. We are jars of clay. We talked about that. We're persecuted, but we're not forsaken. We're struck down, but we're not destroyed. We're afflicted in every way. We're not crushed. We're perplexed. We're not driven to despair. So we keep going. And I want you to notice that Paul ends this section by talking about our focus. As we keep going, because we do not lose heart, we do not give up, he says, we don't look to the things that are seen, but the things that are unseen. In other words, let me just mention this for you, and that is that an eternal focus is not automatic. There requires some effort on our part. Paul says we've got to realize that we cannot focus on all the things around us that we see. He says here they're transient, they're temporary, they belong to time. They break down, they wither, they decay, and then they are no more. But the things that are not seen are eternal. What's not seen? Well, most importantly, in the economy of God, what is not seen is the souls of men. The souls of the people around us that God desires that we might minister to and display His power by our endurance. Those are the things that are not seen. The souls of men are the things that will last for eternity. And Paul says that should be our focus. That we would allow God to use us to accomplish His will in the hearts of people. Remember, he says that in verses 2 and 3, we are tasked with the sharing of the gospel. And he begs us to not allow his gospel, the gospel of Christ, to be veiled in us. Let it be seen by others, that they may trust Christ and join us in His presence for eternity. That, my friends, is why we must keep going.